to have an extravaganza. It is going to be a week of party, including Jamhuri Day itself. I'm sure we have, normally we go to Jamhuri Day, watch the military, then listen to speeches. This time round, if you're coming to Uhuru Gardens for Jamhuri Day, prepare to dance. So if you come in uncomfortable shoes, just be sure you're going to live there without them. Next. Next. We're also going to have an African comedy night. We've invited over 10 comedians from Africa who are going to have an Africa comedian night, and by your presence here, you automatically qualify for a ticket to attend this premier event that will also be aired on DSTV across Africa. Those are some of the people who will be entertaining us. We have entertainers from across Africa. That's the look and feel at KICC. We will choose where you want to be depending on what you want to achieve. There are people who want to just chill and network. There are people who want to play some games. There are people who just want to share African cuisines. There will be a setup for everything that goes on that. Next. There will be enough places. The CEO has taken you through a selfie. We will have 360 photos when you get in. There will be places to sign in and say you're here. There will be enough places to have fun. It is both learning from each other's experiences and having fun. Next. We will exhibit Nairobi culture. So we are partnering with Matatu Owners Association. The young owners of Matatus are bringing in Matatus, and we are celebrating the graffiti culture. We're going to disrupt. When you meet these guys around KICC, they are going to be our different kind of ushers. And that's how KICC will look like. Thank you very much. I will ask the UN resident boss, Anthony, to address, and then maybe invite the PS, who will then invite the chief guest. Thank you very much. Everything will happen at KICC. What we will do is rotate the stages and the setup. We have about 8 stage setups at KICC, so we will be moving people to different places. There is just one thing I've not mentioned that you have raised. There will be dinner in the bush. So we'll also be inviting you to have dinner with the youth. We have 22,000 delegates coming to Nairobi. So it's an opportunity to actually interact with you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Dennis. I think a round of applause. Dennis, amongst other things, is known for many things, but one in particular I want to recognize is his ability to ignite. And for me, really, this question of ignition is maybe a theme that cuts across both Youth Connekt and, of course, Kenya at 60. So look, on my side, I want to be as brief as possible. I want maybe to start from where His Excellency the President left off, which is to say this is not just another meeting. This is not a jamboree. This is not, if you will, 22,000 youths coming together to leave and for the thing to evaporate. This is a movement. And in the broader ecosystem of movements, this movement is very special. And I think some of it you've seen, as in why it's special, you've seen in the presentation. Those of you who have been following, I think, are aware that this is going to be probably in the course of 2023 and, dare I say, 2024, the most important gathering of youth. What I want to do very briefly, and apologies to those of you who've heard us talk about this, but I think it's important not to lose sight of the why, the what, and the how of Youth Connekt, because in a way, you are all ambassadors of Youth Connekt and what it represents by virtue of being here. So first, in terms of the why, I want to talk maybe about something that is not new. Some might say it's not particularly exciting, but in terms of the why, the fundamental rationale, I think we'll all recognize and agree that we are here together to see how to fully unlock the potential of youth. Africa, Kenya, in terms of its development trajectory, is not going to reach goals if the youth are not center stage. And so in terms of the why, fundamentally, let us not forget, this is about unlocking the potential of Africa's youth. And I think maybe to give the story in numbers, the story in numbers for Kenya, which reflect Africa, is the following. If we have a population growth rate, and sorry, already in advance, but if we have a population growth rate as we do, of around 2.2%, which is good because the global average is around 1.5, this means, and you can do the math, that we are basically seeing around 1 million births, right? So 1 million new folks are joining us in Kenya every year. Now, that's all well and good until you look at the number of jobs being created. And in the case of Kenya, and I think Kenya is actually better off than many of its neighbors, you've got 100,000 jobs as things stand being produced, which means that on an annual basis, right, if you project into, now we are in the 12th edition, so if you look at the kind of conversations that our successors in the next 20 years will be talking, we will have an even bigger gap. And so I think just to bring the point home, the why of this Youth Connekt is to make sure that we are turbocharging all the existing efforts to make sure that we can have the jobs that people need. Without essentially closing this gap, we face, I would say, a major lost opportunity. Moving from, if my phone will allow, the why to the what. So the what, again, I think has been spoken to eloquently and will be the subject of the rest of this breakfast, and you'll see it, as it were, those of you coming for the first time, and trust me, it's an experience you'll not forget. In terms of the what, Youth Connekt, amongst other things, seeks to serve as a continental aggregator of the voices of young entrepreneurs, right? And the purpose here is to make sure that none are left behind, right? Even within the context of Kenya, we know that in terms of opportunities to basically have your voice heard, life differs in terms of geography, right? Where you're based. The youth in Nairobi will face different opportunities from youths in Asals. And I think the idea in terms of the what of Youth Connekt is to serve, if you will, as this continental aggregator. And why are we doing this? Why does it matter? There are a number of reasons, and I want to pick maybe two of them. First is by coming together, right? 22,000 youths. And this is an event that is, part of a broader story, right? Youth Connekt doesn't begin and end with what we're going to see in the coming days. Youth Connekt, again, as H.E. the President said, is a movement. And I think this, as I said, is about really two things. One is ensuring that we have a platform through which the youth can influence the policies that affect them. And this is key. This is not about youth doing one thing and governments being elsewhere. This is about growing the opportunities for influencing of policy. Secondly, a link to that is investments. This is an opportunity to leverage and to grow investments that very specifically are going to go to putting in place the conditions for youth to grow, for youth to get jobs, for youth in a borderless Africa to come up with enterprises. Finally, the how, and this is maybe where I can afford to be brief. I've more or less said it, others have. This is a center of gravity, right? This is the center of gravity in Africa with regards to youth. This is unique insofar as in one spot, in one place, we are going to see heads of state, we are going to see ministers of youth, but even more importantly, we're going to see these 22,000 coming from the four corners of this continent and beyond. So really, in terms of center of gravity, I think you have it, and this, as I was saying earlier, is one of the key elements to keep in mind. Last but not least, so Youth Connekt does not obviously operate in a vacuum, and I think it's important for us, as we take a step back, to think of it as part of a broader system. Within this ecosystem, many of you, just to give one example, are connected into, contribute to, and I think like me are super impressed by Talanta Hela. Right? So the idea is that we want ultimately for the sum to be greater than the parts, right? So it isn't that Youth Connekt comes in and displaces others. No, Youth Connekt joins a diverse, rich and growing ecosystem. With those not so few words, I want to congratulate the organizers. We have come a long way under the leadership, first and foremost, of H.E. the President, our dear beloved C.S. Namwamba, of course, not just, our PS, of course, youth and sports, but many other parts of the government have come together for what I think is a really genuine example of a whole of society approach. Because if we're not connected in this, right, they say we rise together, we sing together. But this one, I think, clearly is another example of Africa rising. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana. Let me, and apologies, invite my brother, P.S. Malin, for his remarks. Please, a round of applause for Connekt.
Thank you very much, Anthony. Isn't Nairobi lit? I think you'll agree with me, it's lit. Head of Public Service, Mheshimiwa Felix Koskei, my colleagues, PSS, development partners, and my colleagues in government, good morning. Before I say my remarks, let me quickly ask my colleagues, PSS, and ourselves to get introduced quickly. Dennis, if you can. Okay, Alex.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Alex Washira is my name, Principal Secretary, State Department for Finance. Thank you.
Good morning, Ross Winkler, PS Diaspora Affairs.
Good morning, my name is Pedro Susan, PS West Education.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Idris Dokota, PS Cabinet Affairs.
Good morning, Engineer Joseph Bogo, PS Boots.
Good morning, Almonian Joel, PS Public Works.
Good morning, Sylvia Busia, PS Finance.
Good morning, my name is Eric Istai, PS Network Services.
Morning, Mohammed Liban, PS Petroleum.
Susan Mamin, PS MSE. Veronica Zuba, Performance and Delivery Management.
Dennis, maybe if you allow even the partners to just quickly, 1 minute, to say, to know who is around in the house.
Good morning, Adam Lane, Huawei Technologies. We're sponsoring the job fair, part of Youth Connect and other aspects. Thank you very much.
Partners.
My name is Johan Kim from South Korea, representing International Youth Fellowship IOAF. Thank you.
Dennis, the hub is a partner, maybe Madelina and then Grace.
Good morning, everyone. Magdalena Monoja, UNDP Kenya.
Grace.
Good morning, my name is Grace Mdarikazi from the Econ Afica Conference.
Thank you. Any other partner?
Thank you very much. Mheshimiwa, this objective of this breakfast meeting this morning is a follow-up of a letter by Head of Public Service to all ministries to introduce this week to the government through the letter and now introduce the same to the public through this breakfast meeting. We have done a lot of progress in terms of planning for this week is concerned. We are in the final stage where I used to work, we say is D-Day minus few days. So the D-Day is fast approaching. The week is busy starting today, and it will culminate into Kenya at 60 Jamhuri Day celebration on the 12th of December, which, as Dennis said, is going to be a disrupted Jamhuri Day celebration. So you better be prepared. Part of the week is the big summit that we have introduced here. And the objective of the summit is to bring together over 22,000 delegates across Africa and even beyond for them to come and have dialogue with their leadership and have themselves involved in governance, and again give them an opportunity to also learn from each other through exchange of ideas and share what happens in their respective countries. It's a very exciting summit that all of us cannot afford to miss. Please diarize. The official days of the summits are between 8th to 12th of December. Diarize, and please be available or be present every day of the summit. For the week, the support we require from all the ministries, I know the head of public service will speak into that. And for the interest of time, I will not dwell much, because if I speak so much about the summit, I will spoil for the party. So with those merry remarks, please allow me to kindly invite head of public service to give us his remarks. Karibu sana, Mheshimiwa.
Good morning. I'll read a speech. It looks like today it's a dress down when it comes to language. But how do you bring you back? The Principal Secretary for Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports, all Principal Secretaries present, development partners present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. As you may recall, during preparations for the celebratory events commemorating Jamhuri Day last year, His Excellency the President announced the initiation of a bold new concept of thematic-based celebrations. The idea of thematic-based celebrations is to ensure that national celebrations not only offer an opportunity for rest and recreation and the commemoration of events, of the past events, but more importantly, provide opportunity for reflection on our collective national aspirations, creating a personal connection between the commemoration event and the citizens' hope and desires. On these days, we reflect on the strides made in achieving the identified theme, contemplating the vision of our forefathers as against the current and imagined future. Consequently, it gives me great pleasure to join you today to mark the commencement of the Kenya at 60 Jamhuri Day Celebrations Week under the theme Kenya Youth Creative Economy and Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to begin by thanking the Minister of Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports, as well as the Technical Thematic Committee on National Celebrations for its selection of this theme. Kenya is a young country, not only in terms of its institutions and its leadership, but also in terms of its demographics. From the 2019 census, Kenya's labor force, that is ages 15 to 64 years, accounts for 57%, and the youth constitutes 29% of the total population. The 2022 Kenya Demographic and Health Survey findings indicate that approximately 40% of Kenya's population is below 18 years. Therefore, one of the biggest resources of this country is its young people. Investing in their productive capacity and utilizing their potential in economic development is one of the strategies that this government is taking forward. In doing this, we hope to contain our young people as economic agents to drive our economy and help in the building of strong institutions. In this regard, the government is presently focused on providing the enabling environment for the extraction of the potential of our young people in its entirety, whether in the field of creativity, innovation, passion, or talent, and using it to propel our nation to more prosperity. The Talanta Hela, Ajira, Kikao Mtaani, Hustler Fund, Film Empowerment Program are among various initiatives designed to meet the social economic needs of our young people, aligned with the government's bottom-up economic transformation agenda. I'm therefore particularly pleased to be in the company of great minds who have envisioned and championed a greater destiny for the young people in Kenya, the region, and Africa. And with these year's celebrations, have brought to the forefront the strategic focus of youth-led interventions for prosperity. As is now the established norm, the 2023 Jamhuri Day celebrations, which will also mark Kenya at 60, will be headlined by a series of build-up events, beginning with today's launch. During this week, we will host several events incorporating both public and private sector organizations earmarked by and for the youth. These include innovative product launches from corporate bodies such as Absa, Uber, Google, and TikTok. There will be an African comedy night and a youth extravaganza, events aligned with the philosophy and culture of the target group. We will also have a green marathon on Jamhuri Day that aims at planting at least 1 million trees in line with His Excellency the President's vision for greener Kenya. Every one of us is asked to plant 2 trees on that day. However, the ultimate showstopper event will be the African Youth Connekt Summit that is scheduled to be held from the 8th to 11th December in Nairobi. The convention will bring together Africa's emerging youth, innovators, entrepreneurs, and leaders, together with a wide range of stakeholders, including heads of state, policymakers, business leaders, development partners, and civil society, to address the multiple needs of young people while also fully engaging them in the process of building or coming up with solutions. The African Youth Connekt Summit is an initiative endorsed by the African Union Executive Council as a model framework for implementing the African Youth Charter. The Continental Initiative aims at empowering young people through promotion of entrepreneurship, innovation, and leadership. Since its inception in 2017, the summit has become a flagship event for youth development in Africa, attracting young leaders, policymakers, entrepreneurs, and stakeholders from across the continent. This year's event will see the participation of over 20,000 young people converge to discuss issues related to youth development and identify implementable solutions to improve the lives of young people in Africa. During the celebrations, they will also have the opportunity to watch the finals of the Talanda Hela Inter-County Football Tournament and witness the presentation of the Presidential Innovation Award. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2023 Jamhuri Day celebrations theme of youth, creative economy, and sports, and its alignment with the celebration of 60 years of independence, is deliberate and intentional. It is designed to display Kenya's 60th independence anniversary as a symbolic ignition of Africa's liberation from colonial borders that restricted free movement of people, goods, and services. There is not a better way to amplify this message than having the zest of 20,000 African youth at a historic innovation-themed Jamhuri Day celebrations, earmarked on a summit-themed Youth Innovating a Borderless African Renaissance. The African continent is ensnared in a revival of interest. It is a new frontier in adaptive technology and innovation, an enhanced resource base through the extractive sector, a melting pot of human resource, skill, and competence. Africa's improved economic, social, and political indicators are the genesis of the growing amount of analysis by policymakers and international organizations. With its share of world trade and investments now rising and the availability of natural resources increasing, the continent finds itself at the center of a battle to gain access to and control of its valuable assets. The role of a unified African youth cohort, therefore, cannot be gainsaid. Africa's success in the liberation struggle during the 18th and 19th century was a direct result of the unity of action and a shared ideal. The Africa of then was united in a resolve to rid the continent of colonialism and racialism. The Africa of now is running along the same vein. The African Youth Connekt Summit offers us the opportunity to bolster this pursuit. Ladies and gentlemen, the youth who play a central role in organizing these events are appealing to all of us to support them by being present and accountable. The government will play its part in hosting the events and mobilizing the requisite resources to guarantee its resounding success. We are asking all of us, the corporate sponsors, international donors, non-governmental organizations, social groups, and individual citizens to support this noble cause. Sponsor a young artist or local football team. Buy original Kenyan films and make time to watch a Kenyan play. Buy Kenyan music and art pieces. Attend a concert or recital. Commission the design of an African dress. Visit a Maasai market and purchase African jewelry and ornaments. Let us all play our part in supporting a young person's business this week. I am informed that we have been requested by the organizers to dress a little less formally during this week, which we should have started today, but we were not informed. And adopt a more youthful attire in solidarity with the movement. Consequently, for this week, we are encouraged to swap the formal suits and ties and help create a youthful atmosphere. I'm waiting to see how people will appear. In aligning with the theme, therefore, starting tomorrow, up to the celebratory event on 12 December 2023, I encourage us to dress down in comfortable but presentable casual attire. Wear a jersey of your favorite Kenyan or African team, artist or designer. Buy yourself or your children a Kenyan athletics jersey, a rugby team, a Suja t-shirt, the Rambesters uniform, or our Malkia Strikers volleyball team kit. I also urge you to interact with the youth in your community with added focus. Join them in your programs. Integrate them in your activities. Allow a few young people to accompany you and interact in your boards, in the management meetings. Please mentor them, counsel them. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say that the Youth Connekt, as has been stated, has become a serious movement, a melting pot, a meeting point for our youth, a platform for young people to share ideas, build networks, and bring together Africa as a continent of the future. It is only a venue that will bring each one and all of us to come up with collaborative strategies and reflect on how we can harness the energies, the competences that the youth have in order to transform our continent, not only as a first world continent in future, but a number one continent when it comes to economic revival or renaissance, and also being an economic powerhouse that all world continents will look up to. We want to see it in our generation, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are with me in that journey of making Africa one of the economic superpower. And we want to see in this generation of ours. And the only resource that we have that is common across African continent is our youth, our young people. They are very, very agile. Our people still have a lot of energy. Our young people still have time to take risks. Our young people still have minds that can be straight. Our young people, those who have gone to school and even those who don't, nowadays are technology gurus. You don't have to take a child, a young person to school to learn computers, to learn software. You get software developers, and yet they are in grade 4 or grade 5. We have a resource, ladies and gentlemen, that we need to harness and mobilize and secure and direct them and counsel them so that it can redeem this continent in our time and in the future. Many a times when people hear about youth or when they talk about youth, they always see the negative side. They talk about youth and drugs. Welcome, Waziri. They talk about youth. When they talk about youth, they are seeing drugs, they are seeing alcoholism, they are seeing disobedience, they are seeing lost hope. So they are using a very wrong lens to view the youth. But we want to see the youth as a resource. We want to see the youth as an asset. We want to use the youth as a future. We want to view the youth as a valuable asset in Africa and the world that will enable us grow faster, come closer, gel as a continent or as a people of this world, and as an asset that will make the dreams of our forefathers true and fulfilled. So, as I conclude, I wish to speak candidly and direct to our young citizens, those who are here and those who are watching, that it is your responsibility to build the future you want. This is your time. You must reject the ideas that you need to wait for a certain age to make the impact you want to see in your community and the world. Leadership is not about age, status, or education. It is about the urge to do something for your world, to give yourself either through your time, your mind, or any other ability to the pursuit of justice, prosperity, equality, advocacy, unity, integrity, accountability, or whatever other noble cause. I thank the organizing team once again for putting together this celebration week. I want to confess that I've been having very traumatic mornings because every other morning Itumbi is in my office talking about things that perhaps I don't understand properly. But with time I've understood and he has guided me. That is why age is not anything. It is about the passion, it is about the knowledge. And I want to thank him because I'm now very young at heart. So I urge all of us to work together towards seeing the successful hosting and culmination of these year celebrations, commemorations and reflections as we seek to unlock the potential of the youth in this beautiful Kenya. This government has done a lot, deliberately so, in ensuring that the youth is at the center. Number one, it created a ministry for the youth. In the first executive order, you realize that it was youth, art, and sports. But having a reflection and realizing that it was not enough to mainstream the youth in society and in the economy, we had to twitch a bit with a lot of pressure from the CS, Youth Affairs and Creative Economy, to bring in an additional description of now youth affairs, creative economy, and sports. I think it is so clear now that the trajectory that this country is taking is very, very youth-led. And we want to make the youth to be at the center of our economic transformation. Secondly, His Excellency the President has come out clearly to be the champion of the youth. Actively so, he has established and really enhanced matters around financial assistance of the youth, entrepreneurship. He has given a lot of latitude to the youth activities and has even gone ahead to ensure that anything youth is given prominence, is put at the center stage. And we are going to ensure that any youth initiative, any initiative that is government generated must have a component of a youth issue in it, so that we move together and we make our youth be leaders now, not the leaders of tomorrow. Thank you very much. Have a nice week and congratulations to the team.
Thank you very much. We know that the head of public service has another engagement, but we will be asking for just a few moments of his time. What we're going to do now, we're going to ask the CS, Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports to come and anchor the question and answer session. We will take only 3 questions because of time, and then we will invite everyone for breakfast and a photo op before we allow the head of public service to leave. We hope that with that direction, PSAs will help us to ensure that we have a dress down in government, and also that in all your functions from now on, as you match the issue of gender, you're also going to match the issue of youth. Stop, relax. We will play a video before we take the questions. Please play that clip. There's a video that's going to play as we prepare the questions. Can I see by a show of hands the questions? Okay, so we'll take those questions.
Youth Connekt Summit, the most consequential platform for realizing the African Youth Charter. The first 5 editions, hosted in Kigali, Rwanda, and Accra, Ghana, have served to consolidate Youth Connekt into a formidable platform for the youth of Africa. Themed Youth Innovating a Borderless African Renaissance. The 6th edition in Nairobi, Kenya, is raising Youth Connekt to a whole new level. here in Nairobi, Kenya. We are inviting the youth of Africa from across the length of our continent, from Lamu to Cape Verde, the Cape to Cairo, Turkana to Timbuktu, from the 8th to the 12th of December 2023 for the 6th edition of Youth Connekt Africa Summit, synced perfectly with celebrations marking the 60th anniversary of Kenya's independence, to draw attention to the true liberty, the true freedom with free movement of people, of goods, of services, of ideas, driven by innovation, anchored by the youth of Africa. We are imagining the Africa the youth desire, the Africa we all deserve. This is the ignition of the African Renaissance, Africanity, African pride. Karibu Nairobi, Kenya, the land of Hakuna Matata.
Hollywood has some positions for some movies. CS, kindly you join us to anchor the questions. Any questions? Yeah.
Now, our head of public service, it is never in my habit to walk in late when my senior is on his feet. It is not in my repertoire of habits, but it just so happens that there's so much happening all over the place. And this morning, our women basketball team that conquered Africa 2 days ago arrived this morning with a gold medal after winning the African Basketball Championship. And my first order of business this morning was to host breakfast for our victorious women team, which has made us proud. They are one step away from qualifying for the Olympics. And that is why I joined you a little late in the day. But as you've witnessed, we have a formidable team. It is all hands on deck, whole of government approach in this important week. You have also seen that Youth Connekt is truly about connecting Africa. And that is why we have the Youth Connekt Hub, hosted in Kigali, Rwanda, represented by Grace here, who has been immense in our planning, and our premier partner, the UNDP. Anthony, together with your team from UNDP, thank you very much for being such an incredible partner. I want to, before we take a couple of questions, we want to appreciate government for deciding to theme our 60th anniversary around youth, creative economy, and sports. It is so significant because the 60th anniversary is a very important moment in our history as a nation. And to anchor the theme of this important anniversary around our largest demographic cohort, the youth. And the one thing about Kenya that brands us to the world more than anything else, sports. Kenya is known for sports than for anything else. And I like telling the world that our number one export to the world is not tea, is not coffee, is not tourism. Our premium export to the world is our sportsmen and women. Those are the people that brand Kenya more than anything else. And during this week, we will be serving that rich menu, the energy, the passion of our youth, and our sporting heritage. That is why one of the significant moments of this week will be the Green Marathon. I believe the Green Marathon was explained here, and it's going to be an incredible opportunity for us to draw the attention to the sporting heritage of Kenya and to the greening agenda, where our president has taken a global leadership position. So we'll be hitting two birds with the same stone. Sports coming together with our greening agenda. We are pretty much ready. As I believe the team has debriefed, we are ready. We have worked so hard. Ordinarily, if this has not been mentioned, even if it has been mentioned, let me emphasize. Ordinarily, it takes a year to plan this event. But we have taken 3 months to plan this event. And the reason is that preparations for this event were interrupted by Kenya hosting the Africa Climate Summit in September. And because of that, we had decided to do this event in June next year. But because of other important factors, we truncated that period and made a run for this December. And so in a short 3 months, we've been able to put together a lot. Mobilize resources, get everybody on board, and put together this event. We are looking forward as a ministry to host a truly successful event. And I want to thank all our partners, UNDP and the whole UN ecosystem, corporates like Huawei, Safaricom, Kenya Airways, who is the official carrier for this event. All of you have made it possible for us to put this event together. But again, this week is more than just Youth Connekt. It is a week where we are celebrating Kenya at 60. And so we have a whole incredible menu of activities around that. We will now take questions. Deno, if we have a couple of questions, we can field the questions and they can be fielded to the head of public service. They can be fielded to Anthony here for UNDP. They can be fielded to the PS, Ismail, or myself.
Yeah, and media, please also take the opportunity. We only have 3 questions to take.
Good morning. Thank you, Waziri. This was a very good presentation. My question, or maybe a contribution, is on the contribution of creative economy to our GDP. We are operating at a level that is below 10%, and looking at the potential of creative economy in this country, I think is way above 10%. So what are the strategies in place to improve that? The other one is the linkage. Are we ready, what are we doing to link our creative economy to our cultural industry and the tourism? Thank you.
Okay, so that's about the creative economy. Let me say right from the outset that this is the first administration to consolidate all youth-centric activities together under the same roof, which has made it very easy for us, by the way, to focus attention on matters youth. I have been Minister for Youth and Sports before in the coalition government, and I can tell you this feels different. This is structured different, because all youth-centric activities, from sports to music, film, fashion, everything is under the same roof. And Hopes, I want to thank you, especially around the innovative effort to craft this creative economy as part of this ministry. And I want to assure you that we have got incredible plans for the creative industry. You have seen us sign some incredible deals with some incredible partners. We have a deal signed with the NBA. We have a deal signed with Invention Studios in LA, in Hollywood. They'll be shooting 15 movies next year here in Kenya. Invention Studios is one of the biggest hitters in the Hollywood ecosystem. We have a deal with the Grammys to support the music ecosystem. We have a deal with the Tress. We have some really incredible deals to elevate that space of the creative economy. And you're going to see a lot of zest in music, in fashion, in film, in theater, that whole ecosystem. And we have taken it all the way to the school ecosystem. As PS Bellio here will tell you, we are working very closely with the schools around the music festival, the drama and film festival, the school ball games. This year, we financed that with 267 million shillings. That's why you saw those incredible scenes in Buhungu, in Kakamega. The team that is now beating everybody at Sakafa Championship, the under-18 Junior Harambee Stars, it is a creation of this Talanta Hela pipeline. And the excitement that is causing can tell you what we can achieve as a country if we are deliberate, intentional, and structured in that process. So only good things are coming.
Let's keep the questions to the week.
Now, Hobbs has to go. So if you have a question for him, I would ask that you fire his question, and then the rest of us will stay back.
The guy on the media behind there. Introduce yourself as the media house. As he asks that question, I've just been asked about where to get the Kenyan uniform for dress down. Head of Public Service Sports House has all those Kenya uniforms. You can take the Kenya rugby one. It will look very good on you.
And besides that, as part of supporting the sports apparel industry, we have identified 6 youngsters who are in that space of sports apparel. And they were actually unveiled at State House by the President during the launch of Talanta Hela. They are on standby. They can dress you. You only need to tell us your preference. They'll dress. If you want to go sporty, if you want to go cultural, they are ready to dress you. They dressed the President for the Talanta Hela launch, and you could see how cool he looked. So we are pretty ready for you. Please don't wear ties and suits and all these things this week. PS is going. Hobbs is going to dress down after this session. He'll be leading the dressing down. So, any question for the head of public service? If we don't, then we'll release him. Okay, please, quickly.
You wanted for CS.
I want a question. If there is any for the head of public service, yes.
Thank you, leadership. My name is Ruth Mweni from State House, Kenya. My question is directed to Head of Public Service.
State House Kenya is asking Hobbs a question. Okay.
No, as a young person, I am taking this opportunity from Dennis because we are disrupting the norm.
Okay.
Kindly allow me. Thank you, leadership.
Let's proceed.
Thank you. My question is, what is the future of youth in the Public Service Commission? For those youths that are outside there, sir. And secondly, are we able to have youth-driven activities both in the private sector and government? In the essence of having leadership courses that can be guided by you and escalated to the other departments. We'll be very grateful. Sponsored for young people like us. Thank you, leadership.
PS for hustlers, you can ask yours.
Yes, thank you, CS, and thank you for the good job. I'm just asking on that account of hustlers. I'm looking there, I'm not seeing where we are as hustler fund, and we're the people who have money giving these young people. My point is, let's try to pull in other departments that have opportunities where young people can reap, so that on that day we are not just celebrating the talent, but also showcasing them how they can get connected to those opportunities. So I want to request that we put there the logo of the Hustler Fund. We have so far disbursed 41 billion Kenyan shillings.
We certainly do that, PS. In fact, we are still receiving checks of those who want to support the event. And so we have our next meeting, they know at what time, at 3 p.m. Please send someone with a check. They will plug in and we will accept the contribution. No problem, absolutely no problem. I will now ask the Head of Public Service, and as the Head of Public Service answers that, we are inviting all PSs. Please join us for breakfast, and please also prepare to join us for the tree planting program on the 8th. On Friday, we'll be doing the green run and the tree planting.
Thank you very much. So the person who was asking needs to be disciplined, isn't it? Now, three issues. We, as government, we are very, very, very clear and deliberate in ensuring that the youth are mainstreamed in government, right from college up to employment. So when I start at the top, you can see the kind of PSS that we have. We have about 4 or 5 PSS that are youth. Even the CS himself looks youthful. Secondly, in public service, either Public Service Commission or public service itself, we have deliberate initiatives that we've given. One is internship We have deliberately established an internship program for the youth, for those who are completing school. They will have where to land and earn something for 1 year. We have attachments. We have also made sure, and I hope you have heard, that we are not going to entertain any extension of contracts, giving extensions of contracts to people over 60, because we want, as people are retiring, they release the positions for the youth at the bottom. Thirdly, the public service is very deliberate when it comes to even financing or creating jobs. You have heard about digital hubs. You have heard of promotion of digital employment. And we are investing a lot of money so that the youth can get infrastructure, that they can earn a living, that they can have a decent living, that they can proceed with their lives without necessarily having physical jobs. So those ones, among many other policy changes that we have made, I'm sure as we go along in another 1 year or 2 years, you will see how the youth will settle well in public service. Thank you very much.
We will excuse the head of public service so that he can attend to other business as we wind down. If there's another question, we can take it. But just to expound that on that creative economy agenda, we have a whole package that we have put together, which includes the creative economy bill that is going to consolidate what government intends to do in that space of this bit that we have crafted as a creative economy as part of this ministry. We can take one last question.
Okay, Waziri and all protocols observed. My name is Hilary Kabila from TBS TV Africa. And this question I'm asking as a young person. Are we going to have deliberate outcomes for this summit? Maybe like in the climate summit we had the Nairobi Declaration, and we have seen it's going to COP28. Maybe for this summit, are you going to have an outcome, and how is it going to play out?
Okay.
Thank you.
Let me first of all acknowledge GBS as part of the International Youth Fellowship, another very significant partner for us with whom we have an official MOU between the ministry and the International Youth Fellowship. Thank you very much, our brothers from IYF. Yes, we are going to have an official outcome communique from this. And this particular Youth Connekt Summit is special in the sense that we have curated something around the theme. Look at the theme. Youth innovating a borderless African Renaissance. It resonates with so much that Africa is targeting. Talk about borderlessness. The African Continental Free Trade Agreement is about a borderless Africa where goods, services, people, ideas can float around this continent unhindered and restricted. That is going to be a very deliberate outcome. And young people are telling us they want to be able to travel across Africa to trade, to ideate, and do business and seek employment opportunities across the continent of Africa. That is something we want to tie governments and the African Union around from this summit. We're talking about innovation. And during this summit, one of the most beautiful outcomes is going to showcasing innovations from across Africa. For Kenya, we have already identified some incredible innovations, some of which we were picking up as letters yesterday. We'll be showcasing them, and we want to unleash them across the whole continent of Africa. So you are going to see a lot of things. And while this is going on, while we are planning, while we are ideating, we'll also be doing business. We are taking the Hustler Bazaar continental. We've been trying out the Hustler Bazaar idea for the last 1 year. Now we are taking it to the continental platform. There's going to be a whole Hustler Bazaar, a space for African youth to showcase their product and to do business with one another and with other interests across the continent. It is going to be incredible, absolutely incredible. And the media, please come and showcase each single element of this summit. And we'll be talking a lot more about this as we progress. Partners like Huawei, for instance. Huawei will be having a special showcase around jobs in the digital space, jobs across the whole employability ecosystem, and a lot will be going on in that space. So, yeah, good things are on the horizon for this. Deno, could we cut it there?
Yes.
Yes. So may I please invite all of us to breakfast? And the tree planting will kick off at Margaret. Could you confirm 7 a.m. at the Kasarani Stadium? We are creating a sporting botanical garden at Kasarani. Around the space, for those of you who love the Safari Rally, there is a space called the Spectator Stage, where the Safari Rally cars normally head after flag off. We are turning that Spectator Stage into a botanical garden. We've already planted over 10,000 trees in that botanical garden, and that is where we'll be doing the greening program on Friday morning, 7 a.m. Karibuni. Let us have breakfast and asanteni sana.
Anthony, looks like they're doing it.
Thank you very much.
Utaweza? Mora.